I took a poll for what I'm calling like my next solo watch. Now, what this is a solo watch is like a show you watch, when your spouse and your kids aren't home, or you just got some alone time, you want to watch something. So I took this poll a couple of times now. The first time, you guys ended up getting me to watch Severance, which was excellent. And the second time, I think you guys got me to watch The Leftovers, which I did love. It took me a while because that show will depress the hell out of you if you're not careful. So I decided to put this poll up again. And the thing is I think I'm actually considering a write-in vote right now. So the poll ran for 3 days, and what I said was, here's the shows, and I want you guys to help me pick out which one I watch next. Now, the choices were Peaky Blinders on Netflix, The Bear from FX, Barry on HBO, and Mythic Quest on Apple TV. Those were all shows I had an interest in. I kind of wanted to flip it around, not just put 4 HBO shows in there, because that's what I would usually do. Peaky Blinders is something people have been just urging me to watch ever since I talked about The War for the Rose Throne. They said there's lots of similarities there, and so that's awesome. The Bear on FX, to me, it just does not look like a show I'd be interested in all, but like some of my closest friends, we had like a text thread, and they just go nuts for this show. So they really, and after I saw the actor in the Iron Claw movie that is a lead on that show, he played Kerry Von Erich, the Texas Tornado. I thought he did really great, and like, you've got to watch The Bear. So okay, so I considered that one. Barry on HBO, again, a premise that just sounds really strange. A guy that's a hitman who decides he wants to be an actor and starts taking acting classes. That sounds like a weird premise, but Bill Hader's pretty funny, and it's got the Fonz in it. So hey, maybe it'll be pretty good. I don't know. HBO rarely misses with me, if I'm being honest. And then Mythic Quest is just, I feel like I've had such success with Apple TV. Nothing I've watched have I been disappointed in yet. And I love the idea of the video game industry and things like that. It almost sounds like Silicon Valley, but from like the video gaming point of view. Apparently, this is basically like a peek behind the curtain of what things were like at Ubisoft. And if you know about the things that happened at Ubisoft. So I thought those were 4 good choices. The poll ran. Peaky Blinders won pretty handily. It was a no-brainer that Peaky Blinders was probably going to win because that's a very popular show. I love Cillian Murphy, so I'm sure I will like the show. Lots of people tell me it's super slow, and you got to kind of watch it with subtitles on because you can't understand what they're saying. But that's cool. I watch everything with subtitles on, guys. I'm a reader. That started when we had kids and we couldn't hear the TV, and so that's why we started, just watching everything with subtitles. Now it's hard for me to watch without them at this point. But the thing is, I'm thinking about doing a write-in because someone brought this to my attention, and it's something that I got interested in after I saw Picard Season 3 of Star Trek. That was written by Terry Matalas, who just gave me the Star Trek Next Generation Season 8 that I always wanted. That's what Picard Season 3 was. It was amazing. It was just emotional. It was incredible writing. I loved it to death. And I was like, I'm interested in anything else this guy does going forward. Well, a good friend of mine actually wrote in on that thread, and he's like, I think you should skip all these and watch 12 Monkeys. And I'm like, 12 Monkeys? Man, I didn't even really care for that movie, honestly. It's like a Brad Pitt and Bruce Willis movie in the 90s. Sounds awesome. And I was like, that movie just kind of confused the shit out of me, honestly. I don't really remember very much about it. He's like, well, the series, you don't even have to watch the movie. It completely reboots it. And he said, and it's done by the guy, completely showrunner, writing, producing, directing by the guy who did Picard Season 3. And I said, tell me more. You had my attention. You had my curiosity, now you have my attention. So I'm very, very seriously considering that. But I'll also just do the thing where I do Peaky Blinders at kind of the same time. Just kind of, you can have a nice, just like how you can have a nice fantasy book and a nice sci-fi book at the same time, you can have a nice period drama like a Peaky Blinders and a nice sci-fi show like 12 Monkeys at the same time, I think. So I don't really know a ton about it, except the people that did watch it, because it was on Sci-Fi Channel, so not a lot it didn't have a big audience, obviously. But anything science fiction doesn't really. But everyone who has watched it says this show has some of the best writing that they've ever seen. And it has so many twists and turns that you'll never see coming. And that they all work. And that it has one of the most satisfying finales ever in a TV show. And that sounds awesome because I always hate, you got to get to season 2 before it gets good. Or, hey, make it through season 3. It's kind of a slog. But then once you get past that, it gets really good. Or, it's great, but the last season let me down. I hear that a lot with television shows, but people who actually have watched 12 Monkeys have nothing but awesome things to say about it. I love sci-fi. I love a good time travel story, a good in-time story, trying to change things for the better, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. When you get into time travel, it gets very, very hairy, because what rules are you using? Are you using the Bill and Ted rules? Using the Back to the Future rules? Using the Michael Crichton rules? When you get into science fiction and time travel, it always depends on what kind of rules you're using. And I've heard this has like its very own unique set of rules for time travel, and that sounds interesting. I know Terry Matalas is a huge Back to the Future fan, so I imagine that it kind of is going to use those. But we'll see. We'll see. You change something in the past, but then you travel back to your time and you see that time has changed because of that new timeline. So it's always a fun thing to mess with when you're doing with time travel. And it sounds like they got a really good writing team involved with this to make sure that they got all that stuff as believable as time travel can be.